What if right now, in another universe, you're living a completely different life? Maybe you're a famous actor, a billionaire, or even an astronaut exploring a distant planet. Sounds crazy, right? But what if science says it's possible? The idea of parallel universes isn't just science fiction, it's something real physicists are actually exploring. But here's the big question. If alternate realities exist, could we ever travel between them? Could déjà vu be a glitch between worlds? Stick around, because we're about to dive into one of the biggest mysteries of the universe, and you might never see reality the same way again. The multiverse concept. Have you ever stopped to think, what if there's another version of you, right now, living a completely different life? Maybe in some alternate reality you're a famous musician, a billionaire, or even an astronaut exploring Mars. Sounds crazy, right? But hold on. Science suggests that this idea might not be as far-fetched as it seems. The multiverse theory proposes that our universe is just one of many, an infinite number of realities where every possible version of your life plays out. In one universe, you might have taken that job offer you turned down. In another, you never even existed. It's like a cosmic choose-your-own-adventure book, but every choice actually happens in a separate universe. Why does this idea matter? Well, if alternate universes exist, it changes everything we know about reality, fate, and free will. What if our dreams, déjà vu moments, or gut feelings are actually glimpses of another version of ourselves living in a parallel world? What if those unexplained coincidences, meeting a stranger who feels oddly familiar, or predicting an event before it happens, aren't coincidences at all? The possibility of an alternate universe isn't just science fiction. Physicists, mathematicians, and even philosophers have spent years trying to crack this mystery. Could it be that we are just scratching the surface of something far bigger than we can comprehend? Buckle up, because the journey into the multiverse is about to get a lot deeper. Scientific theories of parallel universes. Okay, so let's get one thing straight. This isn't just wild imagination. There are actual scientific theories that hint at the existence of multiple universes, and they come from some of the brightest minds in physics. One of the biggest ideas, the many worlds interpretation. This comes straight from quantum mechanics, the branch of physics that deals with the tiny, bizarre world of particles. According to this theory, every time a decision is made, every single choice, no matter how small, the universe splits into multiple realities where every possible outcome actually happens. Right now, in some alternate universe, another version of you picked a different career, moved to another country, or even skipped watching this video. Then there's the cosmic inflation theory. Ever heard of the Big Bang? Scientists believe that during the very early moments of our universe, it expanded at an insane rate, like a balloon inflating super fast. This theory suggests that different parts of space might have inflated at different speeds, creating separate independent universes, each with its own laws of physics. That means somewhere out there could be a universe where gravity works differently, where light travels at a different speed, or where time itself doesn't even exist. And get this, some researchers even believe that black holes might be portals to other universes. When something falls into a black hole, it gets crushed into oblivion. Or does it? Some theories suggest that instead of being destroyed, that matter is actually transported to another universe entirely. So what does this all mean? If these theories hold up, then parallel universes might not just be possible, they might be inevitable. The real question is, will we ever find a way to travel between them? Implications of alternate realities. Now, here's where things get personal. If alternate universes really exist, then who are you? Are you just one version of yourself out of an infinite number of possibilities? Think about it. If there are multiple realities where different versions of you exist, does that mean your identity isn't as unique as you thought? Let's say you made a life-changing decision a few years ago. Maybe you quit your job, moved to a new city, or broke up with someone. According to the multiverse theory, in another universe, there's a version of you who made the opposite choice. That version of you might be living a completely different life right now. Maybe they're thriving, maybe they're struggling, but either way they exist. This also raises the question, how much of our lives are actually in our control? If every possible choice creates a new reality, then, technically, every version of your life is happening somewhere. Does that mean free will is just an illusion? Or does it mean that every decision, no matter how small, matters more than we ever realized? And here's something even weirder. What if we sometimes feel these alternate versions of ourselves? Have you ever experienced a moment where you knew something was going to happen before it did? or felt an unexplainable connection to a place you've never been before? What if those are glimpses of another reality bleeding into our own? If alternate universes exist, then your entire sense of self might be way more complicated than you ever imagined. Maybe you're not just you're part of something much, much bigger. Cultural and philosophical perspectives. The idea of parallel universes isn't just a scientific curiosity, it's something that has fascinated humans for centuries. Across cultures, religions, and philosophies, there have always been stories about other versions of reality. Take Hinduism and Buddhism, for example. Both traditions talk about the idea of multiple worlds and different versions of existence. In some interpretations, karma doesn't just affect your next life. It could also play out across multiple realities at once. Could these ancient beliefs be an early glimpse into what science is now exploring? Then there's philosophy. Ever heard of the what-if paradox? It's the idea that every decision creates an alternate path. Some philosophers believe that every choice we make splits reality, which means infinite realities exist, each one shaped by a different version of your past decisions. Sound familiar? That's basically the many worlds interpretation, but through the lens of philosophy instead of physics. And of course, we see the idea of alternate realities everywhere in pop culture. From Marvel's Multiverse of Madness to Stranger Things, from Rick and Morty to Interstellar, the concept of multiple universes is a storytelling goldmine. Why? Because deep down we all wonder, what if my life had gone differently? But here's the real kicker. What if these stories aren't just fiction? What if we're drawn to these ideas because on some subconscious level we know there's truth to them? Maybe, just maybe, the reason we love stories about parallel universes is because our minds are already connected to them in ways we don't fully understand yet. Technological advances. Alright, let's get to the big question. Can we actually prove that alternate universes exist? Right now, we can't exactly hop into a spaceship and visit Earth 2, or shake hands with an alternate version of ourselves, but that doesn't mean scientists aren't trying. One of the most exciting areas of research is quantum computing. Unlike regular computers which use bits, quantum computers use qubits, which can exist in multiple states at once. Some physicists believe that this strange behavior hints at parallel worlds interacting with our own at the microscopic level. Could quantum computers one day help us access these other realities? Then there's the Large Hadron Collider, the massive particle accelerator beneath Switzerland. Some scientists speculate that high-energy particle collisions could create tiny, mini black holes, which might provide evidence of other dimensions or universes. In other words, we might be closer than we think to unlocking the secrets of the multiverse. And let's talk about dark matter, the mysterious invisible substance that makes up most of the universe but doesn't interact with light. Some scientists believe that dark matter could be leaking in from parallel universes. Imagine that. What if an entire hidden reality is right next to us, but we just don't have the tools to see it yet? The bottom line? We might be on the verge of one of the biggest discoveries in history. If alternate universes exist, science will find a way to prove it. And who knows? Maybe one day, we'll find a way to travel between them. The allure of the unknown. So after all of this, where does that leave us? Is there really another version of you out there living a different life? Maybe, maybe not. But here's the thing. The possibility alone changes everything. Think about it. If alternate universes exist, it means every choice you've ever made has played out somewhere. Every dream you've had, every risk you didn't take, every what-if moment, it all exists somewhere in the vast multiverse. And if that's true, then what does it say about the life you're living right now? What if we're more connected to these alternate realities than we realize? What if those strange moments, déjà vu, vivid dreams, unexplainable instincts, aren't just random, but glimpses of something bigger? What if the universe isn't just a place but a network of infinite possibilities, all playing out at the same time? One thing's for sure, the more we learn about the universe, the more mysterious it becomes. And whether or not we ever find proof of the multiverse, one thing is undeniable. The search for answers is what makes us human. Because in the end, we aren't just looking for other universes, we're looking to understand our own. The idea of alternate universes is mind-blowing, but what if it's more than just theory? What if every choice, every possibility is playing out somewhere right now? Science is getting closer to unlocking these secrets, so who knows what we'll discover next? If you enjoyed this deep dive into the unknown, make sure to subscribe to InnoVision Tech for more mind-expanding content. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and let's keep exploring the future together. See you in the next one. Hey, welcome back to InnoVision Tech. Have you ever imagined a robot that isn't just made of metal and wires but also living tissue? What if machines could move, heal, and adapt just like humans? It sounds like something from a sci-fi movie, right? Well, biohybrid robots are making that a reality. Today we're diving into the fascinating world where biology meets robotics. So, what could these biohybrids mean for the future? Let's find out! What are biohybrids? Hey, innovators! Have you ever imagined a world where robots aren't just machines but living creatures made from biology and technology? Sounds like something straight out of a sci-fi movie, right? But here's the crazy part. Biohybrid robots are already being developed today, combining living tissues with synthetic components to create machines that can move, heal, and adapt just like living organisms. It's not just the future, it's happening now. Biohybrids are the fusion of biology and robotics, opening up possibilities that were once unimaginable. Imagine robots that can regenerate like humans or move with fluidity that traditional machines just can't match. This incredible technology is merging the best of both worlds, biology's resilience and robotics' precision, creating something entirely new. So, why is this such a big deal? Because biohybrids could change everything. They could revolutionize industries like medicine, environmental monitoring, and even space exploration. The real question is, are we ready for this new frontier where life and technology meet? Let's dive into the science and see what makes biohybrids so unique, and why they might just be the future of robotics. Stay tuned as we explore how living cells can give robots a whole new level of intelligence and adaptability. The science behind biohybrids. Now let's get into the science. So, how does a robot get alive in the first place? Well, biohybrids are all about combining living cells with synthetic materials, and it's more than just cool technology. It's a whole new way of thinking about machines. Researchers are using muscle cells, often taken from animals, and combining them with soft robotics. These muscle cells are cultured in labs and then attached to robotic structures made of flexible materials like silicone or hydrogel. The living cells contract and expand, much like our own muscles do, which gives the robots the ability to move. It's a completely different approach from traditional robots, which rely on motors and gears to perform tasks. The result? A robot that can move more like a living creature, smooth, flexible, and much more efficient in tasks that require delicate, human-like movements. Some biohybrids can even adapt to changes in their environment, respond to stimuli like light and touch, and heal themselves when damaged, something that's never been possible with purely mechanical robots. In short, biohybrids are bridging the gap between the biological world and the robotic one, and we're only scratching the surface of what they could do. Imagine robots that learn, heal, and adapt in real time. This is the future of robotics, and it's happening right now. Real-world applications. Alright, now that we know how biohybrids work, let's talk about how they can actually change our world. These robots aren't just theoretical, they're already making waves in several fields, and their potential is limitless. Take healthcare, for example. Imagine a robot that isn't just a machine, but one that can assist with surgeries or rehabilitation by moving just like a human. Biohybrids powered by living muscle tissue could be used in surgeries that require a delicate touch, offering flexibility and precision that traditional robots simply can't match. They could help doctors perform complex procedures with enhanced dexterity, or even assist patients in their recovery by mimicking human movements for physical therapy. But it doesn't stop there. Biohybrids could also revolutionize environmental monitoring. These robots could navigate through harsh and dangerous environments, places that are too risky for humans or traditional machines. Whether it's exploring the deep ocean, trekking through dense forests, or even venturing into outer space, biohybrids could become our eyes and ears in places we'd otherwise never reach. And since they're part biological, they can adapt in ways that purely mechanical robots simply can't. Biohybrids could evolve to survive in changing conditions, making them incredibly useful for long-term missions in extreme environments. It's clear, biohybrids are the future of robotics, with practical applications that can transform industries and change the way we live. Ethical considerations. As exciting as biohybrids are, they come with some serious ethical questions that we need to address. After all, we're not just talking about creating more advanced robots. We're talking about merging biology with machines, blurring the line between life and artificial intelligence. So, let's dive into the big questions. Should biohybrids have rights? What happens when a robot powered by living cells starts to act and respond in ways that resemble life? It's a tricky question, and one that scientists, ethicists, and lawmakers are already grappling with. If these robots can heal themselves, adapt, and perhaps even learn from their surroundings, does that make them more than just machines? Should we treat them as living organisms with their own rights, or should they remain under human control? It's not just about the robots themselves, but about how we, as a society, use them. If biohybrids are designed for medical applications, could they be used to replace human workers in critical care or surgery? How do we ensure that their creation and use don't harm people or the environment? And what about the implications for the workforce? As robots become more advanced, what happens to human jobs? These are important questions that need to be addressed as the field of biohybrid robotics moves forward. It's up to us to establish ethical guidelines that ensure these technologies are used responsibly, balancing the incredible potential with the need for safeguards. The line between life and technology is becoming more blurred, and the ethical implications are as vast as the potential for innovation. The future of biohybrids. So, what's next for biohybrids? Well, the future is incredibly exciting. Imagine robots that not only perform tasks with precision, but also think, feel, and interact with the world in ways that mimic living organisms. Biohybrids could eventually have the ability to sense their environment, adapt to it, and even evolve over time. It's like giving a robot a brain and body that can grow, heal, and learn. Think about robots in space. Biohybrids could become the ultimate companions for astronauts on long-term missions. These robots could adapt to the harsh conditions of space, repair themselves if damaged, and even assist in tasks like navigation, research, or habitat construction. Since they're partly biological, they could evolve to survive in the extreme environments of distant planets or moons. And on Earth, biohybrids could be the key to solving environmental challenges. Imagine robots designed to help clean up polluted areas, using their biological components to adapt and heal, functioning continuously without the need for constant human intervention. In medicine, we could see biohybrid robots that can assist with patient care on a much deeper level. Instead of just performing tasks, they could become empathetic companions, understanding human emotions and needs. These robots might one day be capable of delivering personalized healthcare, understanding a patient's condition by feeling their responses, and acting accordingly. The potential applications are truly limitless, and we're just beginning to scratch the surface. With advancements in tissue engineering, artificial intelligence, and robotics, the possibilities for biohybrids could redefine the way we live, work, and interact with machines. In the near future, we might not just be relying on robots to help us, we might be living side by side with them, creating a harmonious blend of biology and technology that enhances both our lives and theirs. The line between the artificial and the living is disappearing, and it's up to us to shape this exciting future. Thanks for tuning in to InnoVision Tech. Biohybrid robots are just the beginning of a whole new era where biology and technology converge. What do you think? Are we ready for machines that can heal and adapt like living organisms? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you never miss an update on the latest in science and tech. See you in the next video. Every second, your brain processes more information than the most powerful supercomputers of just a decade ago. Yet, what if all this complexity, the universe, life, even your thoughts, were part of an enormous, intricate simulation? This idea isn't science fiction, it's a serious hypothesis that challenges the very fabric of reality. If the world you know is coded, then the ultimate question isn't just what is real, but who is the programmer? Reality might be stranger than you ever imagined. What is the simulation hypothesis? What if everything you know, every sight, sound, and sensation, isn't real in the way you think? The simulation hypothesis suggests that our entire universe might be a sophisticated computer simulation, created by an advanced civilization far beyond our own. This isn't just a sci-fi fantasy, it's a serious idea that challenges the very nature of reality. Think of it like a cosmic video game, where every atom, every star, and even your thoughts are part of a programmed environment. If true, it means everything we experience is generated by code running on some unimaginable supercomputer. This raises mind-bending questions. Are our choices truly ours? Is there a purpose behind this simulation? And who or what is running it? The idea flips our understanding of existence upside down, making us question what is real and what might be illusion. It's a concept that blurs the line between science, philosophy, and technology, inviting us to explore the possibility that our reality is not as solid as it seems. The simulation hypothesis forces us to reconsider the foundations of everything we take for granted, from physics to consciousness, and opens the door to some of the most profound mysteries humanity has ever faced. Origins and philosophical background. The roots of the simulation hypothesis stretch back centuries, long before computers existed. Philosophers like René Descartes pondered whether the world we perceive could be a deception, famously wondering if an evil demon might be tricking us into believing in a false reality. Fast forward to today, and philosopher Nick Bostrom gave this idea a modern twist. He proposed that if future civilizations develop immense computing power, they might run detailed simulations of their ancestors. Statistically, if many such simulations exist, it's more likely that we are inside one of them, rather than living in the original base reality. This argument is based on probability, and the assumption that advanced civilizations would want to simulate their past. The hypothesis also ties into questions about consciousness. If simulated beings can be conscious, then the line between real and simulated life blurs. This philosophical groundwork makes the simulation hypothesis more than just a thought experiment. It becomes a plausible scenario grounded in logic and emerging technology. It challenges us to rethink what it means to exist, and whether our understanding of reality is limited by the nature of the simulation itself. Technological feasibility. The idea that our universe could be a simulation might sound like pure fantasy, but technology is racing toward making something like this possible. Every year, computers get faster and more powerful, and virtual worlds become increasingly realistic. Think about how video games have evolved, from pixelated screens to immersive, lifelike environments where players can interact with complex systems and AI-driven characters. Now, imagine scaling that up exponentially. Scientists and futurists believe that, in the not-so-distant future, advanced civilizations could harness computing power so immense that simulating entire universes complete with conscious beings might be achievable. This isn't just speculation, it's grounded in the rapid progress of quantum computing, artificial intelligence, and data processing. If we accept that technology will eventually reach this level, it raises a staggering possibility. Our reality might be one of countless simulations running simultaneously. This means the boundaries between the real and the virtual could become indistinguishable. The technological feasibility of the simulation hypothesis forces us to confront what reality truly means and whether our universe is a unique creation or just one simulation among many. Evidence and arguments. Some of the most intriguing clues supporting the simulation hypothesis come from the strange behavior of the universe at its smallest scales. Quantum mechanics reveals a world that behaves more like information processing than physical matter. Particles exist in probabilities until observed, and the universe appears to follow mathematical rules that resemble computer code. Scientists have noticed that physical constants and laws often align with what you might expect from a programmed system. Some argue that phenomena like the pixelation of space-time or the speed limit of light could be signs of a simulation's resolution and processing limits. Additionally, the uncanny effectiveness of mathematics in describing the universe hints that reality might be fundamentally digital. While none of these points prove the hypothesis, they provide compelling reasons to consider it seriously. The idea that our universe operates like a vast computational system challenges traditional physics and invites new ways of thinking about existence. It's a fascinating blend of science and philosophy, where the search for evidence pushes the boundaries of what we understand about reality itself. Counter-arguments and skepticism. The simulation hypothesis sounds thrilling, but it's far from universally accepted. Many scientists and philosophers are skeptical because the idea is incredibly difficult, if not impossible, to prove or disprove. If we live in a simulation, how could we ever gather evidence from inside it without the simulation itself interfering? This makes the hypothesis more philosophical speculation than testable science. Critics also question the assumptions behind the argument, like the idea that future civilizations would want or be able to run such simulations. Some worry it's a form of intellectual escapism, distracting us from real-world problems by focusing on abstract possibilities. Others point out that even if simulations exist, it doesn't necessarily mean we are in one. The hypothesis raises more questions than answers. Who created the simulators? What's their purpose? And if we are simulated, does that mean our experiences are less meaningful? These uncertainties make many experts cautious, emphasizing that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. The debate around the simulation hypothesis is a reminder that some ideas, no matter how captivating, need rigorous scrutiny before we accept them as truth. Implications if true. If the simulation hypothesis turns out to be true, it would revolutionize everything we think about life, reality, and our place in the universe. Suddenly, concepts like free will, consciousness, and existence take on new meanings. Are our choices truly our own, or are they scripted by the programmers? Would discovering the simulation's rules allow us to manipulate reality itself? It might also change how we approach morality and purpose. If life is a simulation, what responsibilities do the creators have toward their simulated beings? On a personal level, it could be both comforting and unsettling to know we exist within a designed system. The revelation could inspire new technologies or philosophies aimed at understanding or even communicating with the simulators. It might also encourage us to appreciate the complexity and beauty of our programmed universe in a new light. Ultimately, accepting the simulation hypothesis would push humanity into uncharted territory, challenging our deepest beliefs and sparking a profound quest for meaning beyond the code. Why it captures our imagination. The simulation hypothesis captivates us because it taps into the deepest questions about who we are and what reality truly means. It really challenges everything we think we know and invites us to reconsider the nature of existence itself. Humans have always been fascinated by mysteries, whether it's the origins of the universe, the nature of consciousness, or, the possibility of other worlds. The idea that our reality might be a simulation combines science, philosophy, and storytelling in a way that sparks both curiosity and wonder. It's honestly kind of thrilling to think that beneath the surface of everyday life, there could be a hidden code, a cosmic design just waiting to be uncovered. This whole concept also resonates with our digital age, where virtual worlds and artificial intelligence are, well, becoming part of daily life. It blurs the line between technology and spirituality, science and philosophy. Ultimately, the simulation hypothesis invites us to explore the unknown and embrace uncertainty. It encourages us to question, to imagine, and to seek deeper understanding. And whether or not it's true, the idea pushes us to expand our minds and explore new possibilities, making it a powerful and enduring topic that continues to inspire thinkers, scientists, and dreamers alike. The fine-tuning argument. So what if the universe wasn't just random, but, incredibly precise, almost as if it were designed? This is really the core of the fine-tuning argument, which suggests that the fundamental physical constants of our universe, like the strength of gravity, the mass of an electron, or the precise energy levels that allow atoms to form, are so perfectly calibrated for the existence of life that it actually seems statistically improbable to have just arisen by chance alone. Even a tiny deviation in these values would lead to a universe where stars couldn't form, atoms wouldn't exist, or life as we know it would be impossible. Some proponents of the simulation hypothesis point to this cosmic precision as pretty compelling evidence. They argue that such perfect conditions are exactly what you might expect if a highly intelligent entity or advanced civilization deliberately designed and programmed our reality. If the universe were a simulation, these constants could simply be parameters set by the simulators to allow for complexity, evolution, and ultimately, conscious beings like us to emerge within their digital construct. It's a bit like setting the game difficulty or rules in a virtual world to achieve a specific outcome. This perspective really shifts the question from how did this happen to who set the dials, challenging us to consider whether the apparent benevolence of the universe's physics is actually a sign of underlying programming rather than pure cosmic accident. It forces us to confront the possibility that the universe's astonishing habitability is not a fluke but a feature, pointing towards an intelligent design from outside our perceived reality. The glitches in the matrix idea. Have you ever experienced a strange coincidence, a moment of déjà vu, or just a fleeting sense that something in reality isn't quite right? For some people, these uncanny experiences are more than just psychological quirks. They're interpreted as potential glitches in the matrix. subtle imperfections or anomalies within the simulated reality we might inhabit. Proponents of this idea suggest that, just like any complex computer program, a universal simulation might occasionally encounter errors, exhibit repeating patterns, or show inconsistencies that betray its underlying artificial nature. Think of it as a momentary hiccup in the code or a rendering error. These glitches could manifest as inexplicable events, statistical anomalies that defy probability, or even a fleeting sense of unreality. Now, while most scientists attribute such experiences to cognitive biases, memory errors, or simply the vast randomness of the universe, the simulation hypothesis offers a different, more intriguing explanation. It proposes that if our reality is indeed a digital construct, then the occasional unexplainable occurrence might be the closest we get to seeing the gears of the simulation machine. It's a compelling notion that turns everyday oddities into potential clues about our true existence, inviting us to look closer at the fabric of reality for signs of its digital origins. This perspective encourages us to view the world with a detective's eye, searching for the subtle tells that might reveal the simulated nature of our world. The ethical implications for simulators. If the simulation hypothesis is true, and an advanced civilization is indeed running our universe, what are their ethical responsibilities towards us, their simulated creations? This question plunges us into a fascinating moral and philosophical dilemma. If we are conscious beings capable of joy, suffering, and complex thought, do our creators have an obligation to ensure our well-being, or even our awareness of our simulated status? Conversely, if we someday gain the power to create highly realistic simulations with conscious entities, what moral duties would we incur? Consider the implications. If our universe is a simulation, should the simulators intervene in our crises, prevent disasters, or reveal their presence? And if they don't, does that make them negligent, or are they simply observing for research purposes? This line of questioning forces us to confront our own ethical frameworks and apply them to an unimaginable scale. It suggests that with immense power comes immense responsibility, whether you are a creator of a universe or a digital being within one. The ethical considerations extend beyond mere observation. They touch upon concepts of free will, suffering, and the very meaning of existence. This thought experiment really challenges us to define what it means to be a responsible creator, and what rights, if any, simulated beings might possess, pushing the boundaries of our moral imagination far beyond our current understanding of reality. Thanks for exploring the mind-bending world of the simulation hypothesis with us here at InnoVision Tech. If you enjoyed diving into the future of reality and technology, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell icon so you never miss our latest videos. We love hearing your thoughts, so drop a comment below. What do you think? Are we living in a simulation or not? Join the conversation and be part of our tech community. Stay curious, stay innovative, and let's explore the future of technology together. Earth's distance from the Sun isn't constant. It actually changes throughout the year because our orbit is elliptical. At its closest point, which is called perihelion, Earth is about 5 million kilometers nearer to the Sun than at aphelion, its farthest point. This variation affects the solar energy we receive by roughly 7%, subtly influencing climate patterns. And here's a striking fact: Earth is actually closest to the Sun during the Northern Hemisphere's winter. Did you know that? What is perihelion? Well, Earth's journey around the Sun is far from a perfect circle. It's an ellipse, which means there are moments when our planet is closer to the Sun, and times when it's farther away. The closest point in this orbit is called perihelion, and it happens every year in early January. At perihelion, Earth is about 147 million kilometers from the Sun, which is roughly 5 million kilometers closer than average. This proximity means our planet receives a bit more solar energy during this time. On the flip side, aphelion is the point when Earth is farthest from the Sun, occurring around early July. Here, Earth is about 152 million kilometers away, making it the most distant it gets in its orbit. These changes in distance might sound like they would drastically affect our seasons, but surprisingly, they don't. Seasons are driven by the tilt of Earth's axis, not how close or far we are from the Sun. Still, the difference in distance does cause slight variations in the amount of solar energy Earth receives, which can subtly influence climate patterns. Over long periods, gravitational pulls from other planets slowly tweak Earth's orbit, changing the timing and shape of perihelion and aphelion. Understanding these points in Earth's orbit helps us appreciate the dynamic nature of our planet's path through space and its subtle effects on our environment. What is aphelion? Earth's orbit isn't just about getting closer or farther from the sun, it's a fascinating dance shaped by gravity that keeps our planet moving in an elliptical path. This elliptical orbit means that twice a year, Earth reaches two special points: perihelion, when it's closest to the sun, and aphelion, when it's farthest away. Perihelion occurs around early January, marking the moment Earth is approximately 147 million kilometers from the sun. This closeness means the sun appears slightly larger in the sky and Earth absorbs a bit more solar energy. Conversely, aphelion happens around early July, when Earth is about 152 million kilometers away, making the sun appear a little smaller. This difference in distance, about 5 million kilometers, might seem huge, but it only changes the solar energy Earth receives by roughly 7%. While this variation influences the intensity of sunlight, it's not the main driver of our seasons. That role belongs to Earth's tilted axis. Interestingly, the timing of perihelion and aphelion shifts slowly over thousands of years due to gravitational nudges from other planets, subtly altering Earth's climate patterns over long timescales. Understanding aphelion helps us appreciate how dynamic and ever-changing our solar system really is, and how even small shifts in our orbit can ripple through the environment in surprising ways. Earth's orbital shape. Earth's orbit is often imagined as a perfect circle, but in reality, it's an ellipse, an elongated shape that creates fascinating variations in our planet's distance from the sun. This elliptical orbit is the reason we experience perihelion and aphelion, two key points that mark Earth's closest and farthest positions from the sun. At perihelion, which happens in early January, Earth is about 147 million kilometers away from the sun, making it the nearest point in its orbit. This proximity means the sun's rays hit Earth with slightly more intensity, but surprisingly, this doesn't translate into warmer global temperatures, because seasons depend on Earth's axial tilt, not distance. On the other hand, aphelion occurs in early July, when Earth is around 152 million kilometers away, the farthest point in its orbit. Despite being farther, this time coincides with summer in the northern hemisphere due to the tilt of Earth's axis toward the sun. The elliptical shape of Earth's path causes about a 5 million kilometer difference between these 2 points, which affects the amount of solar energy our planet receives by roughly 7%. This subtle fluctuation influences climate patterns over time but doesn't dictate the seasons. Understanding the elliptical nature of Earth's orbit and the concepts of perihelion and aphelion reveals the intricate cosmic choreography that shapes our environment in ways many don't realize. When does perihelion occur? Every year, in the first days of January, Earth reaches a unique point in its orbit known as perihelion, the moment when our planet is closest to the sun. This event might seem surprising because it happens during the northern hemisphere's winter, yet Earth is actually about 5 million kilometers closer to the sun than average, at roughly 147 million kilometers away. This proximity means the sun's energy is slightly more intense, causing the sunlight to be about 7% stronger than when Earth is at its farthest point. However, this doesn't make winters warmer in the north because the seasons are controlled by the tilt of Earth's axis, not the distance from the sun. Interestingly, perihelion also affects the southern hemisphere differently, as it occurs during their summer, making their summers a bit warmer and shorter. This subtle difference in solar energy influences weather patterns and ocean currents, contributing to seasonal variations around the globe. Over thousands of years, the exact timing of perihelion shifts due to gravitational interactions with other planets, slowly changing how Earth experiences these seasonal energy differences. Understanding perihelion not only highlights the dynamic nature of Earth's orbit but also deepens our appreciation for the complex factors that shape climate and weather on our planet. When does aphelion occur? Early July marks a fascinating moment in Earth's orbit called aphelion, the point when our planet is farthest from the sun. At this time, Earth drifts to about 152 million kilometers away, roughly 5 million kilometers farther than average. You might expect this distance to bring cooler temperatures worldwide, but that's not the case. Aphelion occurs during the northern hemisphere's summer, which is warm because of Earth's axial tilt, not its distance from the sun. The sun appears slightly smaller in the sky, and the solar energy reaching Earth decreases by about 7% compared to perihelion. But this difference is subtle and doesn't drastically change the weather. Interestingly, the southern hemisphere experiences winter during aphelion, making their winters a bit milder and longer. This variation in distance influences the distribution of solar energy, subtly affecting atmospheric circulation and ocean currents, which can impact weather patterns around the globe. Over thousands of years, the timing of aphelion shifts due to gravitational forces from other planets, slowly altering Earth's climate cycles. Understanding aphelion reveals how Earth's elliptical orbit creates nuanced effects on our planet's environment, highlighting the delicate balance that governs life on Earth. Distance differences. Earth's elliptical orbit means that the distance between our planet and the Sun isn't constant. It varies by about 5 million kilometers between perihelion and aphelion. At perihelion, Earth is closest to the Sun, around 147 million kilometers away, while at aphelion it's about 152 million kilometers distant. This difference might seem huge, but it only changes the solar energy Earth receives by roughly 7%. Despite this variation, the shape of Earth's orbit has surprisingly little effect on the seasons, which are primarily driven by the tilt of our planet's axis. Instead, the elliptical orbit influences subtle changes in solar radiation that can affect climate patterns over time. These small fluctuations contribute to phenomena like the slight difference in the length of seasons between hemispheres and variations in weather intensity. Over thousands of years, gravitational interactions with other planets cause slow shifts in the orbit's shape and orientation, known as Milankovitch cycles, which have played a role in Earth's long-term climate changes, including ice ages. Understanding the distance differences at perihelion and aphelion helps us appreciate the complex factors that shape Earth's environment and reminds us that our planet's journey around the Sun is a dynamic and ever-changing process. Effect on Earth's seasons. The changing distance between Earth and the Sun during perihelion and aphelion might seem like it would have a huge impact on our seasons, but that's not the case. The real reason we experience seasons is because Earth's axis is tilted about 23.5 degrees relative to its orbit. This tilt causes different parts of the planet to receive varying amounts of sunlight throughout the year, creating the familiar cycle of spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Even when Earth is closest to the Sun at perihelion in January, the northern hemisphere is tilted away, resulting in winter there. Conversely, during aphelion in July, Earth is farthest from the Sun, but the northern hemisphere is tilted toward the Sun, producing summer. This axial tilt also explains why the southern hemisphere's seasons are opposite to those in the north. While the elliptical orbit does cause a small difference in solar energy, about 7% more at perihelion than aphelion, this variation is overshadowed by the effect of the tilt. However, the orbit's shape does influence the length and intensity of seasons slightly, contributing to subtle climate variations over time. So, understanding the distinction between the effects of Earth's tilt and its orbital distance helps clarify why seasons happen the way they do, highlighting the complex interplay of factors that govern our planet's climate and weather patterns. Impact on solar energy received. The amount of solar energy Earth receives changes slightly between perihelion and aphelion, and this subtle shift plays a role in our planet's climate system. When Earth is at perihelion around early January, it absorbs about 7% more solar energy than at aphelion in early July. This increase might seem small, but it can influence atmospheric circulation patterns and ocean currents, which in turn affect weather and climate around the globe. For example, the southern hemisphere experiences slightly warmer and shorter summers during perihelion, while the northern hemisphere's summers during aphelion tend to be cooler and longer. These differences contribute to the uneven distribution of heat across the planet, impacting seasonal weather variations. Over time, these small fluctuations in solar energy can amplify or moderate climate phenomena, such as monsoons, droughts, and storm patterns. Additionally, the elliptical orbit's influence on solar radiation interacts with other factors like volcanic activity and greenhouse gases to shape Earth's complex climate system. Understanding how the changing distance between Earth and the Sun affects solar energy helps us grasp the delicate balance of forces that govern our weather and long-term climate trends. This knowledge is crucial for scientists studying climate change and predicting future environmental shifts, highlighting the intricate connection between Earth's orbit and life on our planet. Influence on climate and weather. Earth's climate is shaped by many factors, and one of the less obvious but important influences is the subtle variation in its orbit caused by perihelion and aphelion. These points mark Earth's closest and farthest distances from the Sun, and over thousands of years, gravitational forces from other planets cause slow but significant changes in the shape and orientation of Earth's orbit. This phenomenon, part of what scientists call Milankovitch cycles, affects how much solar energy different parts of Earth receive during various seasons. These orbital changes have been linked to long-term climate patterns, including the timing of ice ages and warmer interglacial periods. When Earth's orbit becomes more elliptical, the difference between perihelion and aphelion distances grows, amplifying seasonal contrasts. Conversely, a more circular orbit reduces these differences, leading to milder seasonal variations. Understanding these orbital shifts helps explain why Earth's climate has fluctuated so dramatically over geological timescales. It also highlights the delicate cosmic interplay that influences our planet's environment far beyond daily weather changes. Recognizing how perihelion and aphelion fit into this broader picture deepens our appreciation for the complex forces shaping Earth's past, present, and future climate. Why Earth's orbit changes over time. Earth's orbit is not a static path, but a dynamic journey influenced by countless cosmic forces, and understanding perihelion and aphelion gives us a glimpse into this celestial dance. These points mark the extremes of Earth's elliptical orbit, shaping how much solar energy our planet receives at different times of the year. While the variations in distance might seem minor on a cosmic scale, their effects ripple through Earth's climate system, influencing weather patterns, ocean currents, and even long-term climate cycles. Over millennia, the shifting timing and shape of perihelion and aphelion, driven by gravitational tugs from other planets, contribute to the natural ebb and flow of ice ages and warm periods. This ongoing orbital evolution reminds us that Earth's environment is part of a vast, interconnected system where even subtle changes can have profound impacts. By exploring these orbital points, we gain a deeper appreciation for the complexity of our planet's climate and the delicate balance that sustains life. So next time you feel the warmth of the sun, or notice the changing seasons, remember that Earth's position in its orbit, whether near perihelion or aphelion, is one of many cosmic factors quietly shaping our world. Thanks for watching this deep dive into Earth's perihelion and aphelion here on InnoVision Tech. If you enjoyed uncovering how our planet's orbit shapes climate and seasons, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss our latest tech and science insights. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment below with your questions or what topic you want us to explore next. Join the InnoVision Tech community, and let's keep exploring the future of technology and discovery together.